Good evening, folks. Hope you can hear me. Please give me a shout out in the chat if you can hear me okay. Had to change a few settings and things tonight, but I think we should be all good. Resi or Dracula, or Dracu, Highland, Mikey, good evening everybody. Hey, how are you? Hope you're well. It's been a pretty busy day for me today, but hoping to get a little bit modelling done. I did a little bit this morning as well. I was up bright and early at like 7, so did a few hours in the morning, but and I am working on different things over on the on my actual hobby table. Sound is good. Thank you guys. Yeah, so maybe I'll just start by showing you a few things that we're working on. So as you know, I love my captains on bikes, chapter masters on bikes, so I need to tidy up the edge highlighting. I was just working on it this morning. And this guy, I just changed his helmet, so he's going to have a Reaver helm. So this is going to be a chapter master on a bike. I actually don't know where his arm is. That's a good point. I was painting him this morning, and I completely ignored the fact that I'm in painting his left arm right now, so I guess I need to find that for tomorrow. So we're working on that. Also working on another bike, and this one is for Death Company. So this is a Death Company captain with a custom Teeth of Terra. So it's 2 chain swords stuck together. I mean, you'll see underneath, you can see that I blotched some. I think I cut like a plastic shaving and like stuck it to it, so it's got a bit more strength. So this is going to be and he's got a Crimson Paladin shield on the front. But I also have him with no other arm, so I was working on his arms. Hey Lawrence, thank you very much for the super chat. Well, here's something for a busy day. I much appreciate, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we're working on both. I think this would be a power sword, but it could also double as like that the Angel Shard, I think it's called. Archangel Shard. It's the sword that's really kick-ass against chaos and demons. And then also started working on a power fist arm as well for this guy. So I think the magnets on the sword are actually pretty cool. And I've been using these Sangori Priest shoulder pads. So I think they'll work pretty nicely. Oh, Mikey, thank you very much for the super chat. Oh, what a good evening. You guys just made my day. Thank you very much. So yeah, I mean, I've got a bunch of coats and a bunch of work to do here, and this is what I'm working on off stream. I need to finish these characters. You guys know that I love the bike characters. They're so survivable. So working on them in the mornings. But what else I need for this new army list is some Eradicators. So tonight we're just going to try and get 3 colours on the Eradicators. At the moment I guess they have 2 colours on them, so we're going to do a little bit of work on that. Good evening everyone that's tuning in. And 4.1k subs, congratulations by the way. Thank you very much. What magnets do you use for the little guys? I think it's 1mm thick, and it's just 1mm in diameter, so I think they're just 1 by 1, and they're very fiddly, I guess. My trick for getting them is like get 2 of them, put them together, and then use a Sharpie to draw on like one side of them, so that you can basically figure out the polarities. Because do you know what? Even sometimes if you do the Sharpie trick, if you jump the gun, if you're too excited to try and stick them together, I've lost count of the number of times that I've messed up the polarities on those magnets. But the only reason that I've got 2 guys there is because I figured like that long chain sword was going to be quite delicate, and I wasn't sure about magnetizing it, so I ended up just basically making 2 bikers. But I mean, maybe I could have just made 1 and done all 3 weapon options. The Teeth of Terra, I suppose, could just look like a regular chainsword, but I just had the idea that it would look pretty cool if it was like twice as long. And that makes that captain on Death Company like such a good anti-infantry character. Like if you give him Imperium Sword, he's got like 11 attacks. 11 attacks on the charge, hitting on 2s, probably wounding any infantry on 2s, because Imperium Sword makes that sword strength 6. So yeah, you'd even wound like Gravis troops, or like I guess you'd wound any like toughness 5 Death Guard on 2s as well. I mean, I guess the -1 in the Death Guard's a bit of a pain in the arse, but yeah. Congratulations on 4K. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah, we kind of, I guess. Do you know what? I'm not going to do his helmet in blue, because he's going to be the sergeant or something. So I'm just going to put blue on these other helmets first. Yeah, it's been a little bit of work to get to 4,000, but it's cool. I mean, I'm very. It's YouTube's a bit of a weird thing in that you put videos up and you don't know how well they're going to do, and you just have to ride with it. So getting 4K is pretty cool. So I mean, it wouldn't be possible without all you guys' support. So thank you very much for that. Do you know what, this brush may be on its last night of painting. Highland Phoenix will be very happy because he hates it when I use knackered brushes, but I like to get the most out of brushes, and if I'm just putting down base colors, I really don't care about making mistakes and stuff, because I always go back and tidy stuff up anyway. So music's a little loud. Alright, thanks dude. I'll try that. Good evening, Tony. How are you coming? 10k is coming. Yeah, I mean, 10k would be awesome. I believe at 10,000 you actually... Well, two things happen, I guess, for 10,000 subs. One is YouTube actually give you like a merchandise store. So like we could sell the Blood Angels commanders and t-shirts and cups and whatever else you guys want. And like that'll just be handled by YouTube. Like I don't think I have to do anything. I mean, obviously YouTube take a cut of the money, but I mean... YouTube take a cut of the money like anyway when you put ads on your channels and stuff anyway, right? So it's not a big deal. And then yeah, the other thing that happens when you get to 10k is apparently Games Workshop will actually speak to you. Before 10k they don't care about you. I guess you're just classed as like a nobody in their eyes, but if you get to 10k they'll actually speak to you, and if you want early access to the new books and the new rules, they actually send you those out. So my goal really is to try and get to 10k, so like when any new Blood Angels rules or models or anything is coming out, then you know I can get the jump on it and I can get the news and information to you guys first. So that'll be super cool if it happens, but yeah, maybe a little ways away from that. Thanks, Adam. Congratulations. Hey man, congrats on the subs. Do you have any thoughts on using Rights of War to give Vanguard veterans Deep Strikers OBSEC? Looking forward to the next video. Do you know what? A lot of people use Rights of War. Like every week on the Army List show, which is on Sundays, by the way, at 4 o'clock if you haven't been there before. A lot of lists submit with people using Rights of War. Usually people tend to put Rights of War onto like Sanguinary Ancient, but I mean I think the Rights of War could go on a captain or anything like that as well. I'm of the opinion that I'd rather kill the enemy than just try and remove their OBSEC, but I think it is a pretty valid strategy, the Rights of War. Like when I first read the rule I was like, wow, that's going to be pretty useful, especially like if you're running like a custom captain or something with like 10 Sanguinary Guard, or you know, like a big squad of jump units, like you said, they're Vanguard veterans. I think you could get quite a lot of value out of Rights of War. Honestly, I would have liked to try it myself, but here in Scotland we've been in lockdown now for like, I think next week it'll be 2 months. So like I haven't been able to play a game in 2 months. Well, it's not just Scotland, it's the whole of the UK are in lockdown. So you know, you're not allowed to. You're basically not allowed to go out the house for the last 2 months. So I haven't run Rights of War myself. I think there's some value in it, but my strategy usually is just to kill the opponents. But I think there's definitely going to be some situations that you could see great value in that. Like if you're fighting against Necrons that have that dynasty where every single unit on the field is OBSEC, you know. At that point, you may even want to consider, like, if it was that Necron army, you might want to consider the Visage of Death. But yeah, there's a lot. When I first read it, I thought it was pretty cool. first bike is pretty cool. How long ago did you begin that one? A while, man, because I was painting up 11 Vanguard veterans and I just finished them. I've been so busy that I haven't even taken a photo of the finished squad. So I was going to take a photo. I've honestly been finished them for like a week. I was going to take a finished photo of the Vanguard veterans and put it up on the Facebook group. But I just, like I said, I've just been so busy this last week. My day job can be pretty busy as well. So had a few deadlines that I had to meet with the day job, which meant like working overtime, and then it's just been a busy sort of 10 days or so. But yeah, I mean, I reckon maybe like 2 or 3 weeks to paint. On the painting table right now, I've those 2 bikes, and I've got a librarian as well, like a general librarian, like the utility librarian that we did the video about a few weeks ago, because I think that I think a utility librarian is really strong in the meta at the moment. And and then I've got this whirlwind over here just off camera. I think I've done the turret, but I need to get some paint on its tracks and stuff. So I've got basically I've changed my whole army list during lockdown, and I'm desperately trying to make sure it's all reasonably painted for the first battle when we go back. So maybe it's a good thing that we're in lockdown. It certainly doesn't feel like it, but I mean, I guess I've got a lot of painting done. I can't understand that you kill brushes so fast. I've got some that I used for years. I don't know then. I know when you're painting, you're only ever supposed to stroke the brush towards you, right? So you're never pushing the bristles away from you, but I don't do that. So maybe that's why, Tony. I don't do that, and I'm still the slowest painter you've ever seen. I don't know why I'm so slow. I just am. I lost what you said there, Highland. Do I? I'm not sure what you said. If I'm a quicker painter than you, then I'm surprised, because I think I just plug away at it. Just make sure that I try and do some painting every day. It usually happens as soon as the wife and the baby go to bed. I try and just get the painting table out and do a little bit. So, but yeah, I'm hopefully going to probably be approaching 8,000 or 9,000 points painted here pretty soon. So at that point, if I start running army lists that don't have that need painting, I'll be like, how do I need to do painting when I have 9,000 points painted? We'll see. If I could get a pint commander's mug, that would be sick. Yeah, I mean, I think YouTube let you sell all sorts of things once you hit 10,000. I think it's just a generally pretty good merchandise store. I'll check into it. I mean, I see all the big content creators have their own merch store. I might actually improve my logo as well, because I kind of like the logo, but I think maybe we could make it feel a little bit more like an actual Blood Angel. It's got some strange shoulders and a strange gun on it that could probably be improved. Soon I will not be wearing these gloves, I promise you. Do you know what? Someone actually wants to come and view my house, so I may actually get my house sold. So once I get my house sold, hopefully we'll be in a warmer house, and I won't need these gloves every time we're on stream. Do you know, a few weeks ago, I don't know if you can still see it on the top of my finger there. Yeah, I think you can see it, right? I got this thing in this room called Chillbanes, which is if you've never heard of it, you can Google it. It's CHILBAINS, and it's basically the temperature is so cold that when you're when your fingers heat up, the blood vessels burst or something. like it looks pretty gruesome if you Google it. You know, like whenever you Google any illness or anything like that, it looks totally gruesome. So I got like a very mild case of chilblains in this room at the beginning of the month, because I guess the room was so cold that like when I went into the other room, my fingers heated up too quickly, and like all the blood vessels in my pinky burst. It was kind of sore actually. Weird though. So yeah, this room is notoriously cold. You have 9 Thunderhammers going with a Chapter Master for Rites of War. That seems like... Oh, I don't know about if I like a squad with that many Thunderhammers, man. That makes every model and it's super expensive. Like, Vanguard Veterans with Thunderhammers, like 37 points per model. It's a lot to lose if you take some wounds. I really like having some cheap unit, or cheaper units in the squad when you can do that. You know, like maybe like 4 Thunderhammers and then like 5 guys just with chainswords, so when you actually start getting shot and people are dying, you just always take the wounds on the chainsword models. I mean, you generally do that in a lot of your squads anyway, right? If you've got, you know, like if you've got a tactical squad, for example, and you guys are dying, you always take the guys with the bolters first, right? Before you take the guys off with the special weapons. Just 37 points per model for those Vanguard vets with Thunderhammers is a lot. You know, it's 2 points more than a Death Company model. I guess they're probably a little bit more survivable than the Death Company. It just seems like a lot. I'd say it works alright with a large number of big non-troop units, but you're right, depends on how you want to play the game. Wiping out the enemy is definitely the way to go. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a few people on the stream that would just prefer to wipe out the enemy. And I really like now that we can give some of our HQ units, like we can make them super survivable. Those bite characters can become super survivable, and I think that there's more value having those characters alive in like turn 4 and 5 than maybe Rites of Warring an objective earlier in the game. Because if those characters are alive in the end game, you know, they can score objectives on their own, or they can kill things on their own. That's kind of how I like to play at the moment anyway. Be Commander image on a Warhammer model, it should be a biker. Yeah, maybe it should be a biker. The Death Company bike with the gold Chapter Master on it. That's what I like. Hey Chaos, good evening. How are you? Do you think a Discord group would be a good idea? I personally don't have a Facebook. Probably other people don't as well. I mean, a Discord group might be a good idea. Yeah, let me have a think about that. I mean, it can be quite... I guess here's the only issue, I suppose, Lawrence, about why I haven't created a Discord group. And I guess where we are with the Facebook group right now is like we're just coming up to 700 members, right? And honestly, making the YouTube videos takes like a lot of my free time every week, right? So like, I can tell you exactly what I do. So basically, like, if we start on Thursday, because Thursday's just passed and it's nice and easy for me to remember. So on Thursday nights, I try and do a hobby hangout. So basically that's like 10 till midnight. On Friday nights, usually have some downtime on Friday night. Maybe I'll work a little bit on a video if I've got something big in progress, but like Friday night I kind of have a bit of downtime because, you know, it's Friday night. Saturday night, which it is right now, we're doing the hobby hangout, and then Sunday we do the live show, and then Sunday night I always work on a video. Monday night I work on a video. Tuesday night I work on a video. Wednesday night I work on a video, and then Thursday night we're back to live streaming again. So like where we are with the Facebook group now with like 700 members, it can be quite difficult for me to answer every comment, right? Because like the nights that I'm working on videos, like I'm in front of the camera, like I guess like probably like it takes me a whole evening to do the the spreadsheet you see in every video is like where we work out all the math hammer. Like that'll take 2 to 3 hours, I guess, and then the following night it'll take, like, let's say an hour to do all the filming. If it's a longer video, maybe 90 minutes, and then it'll take the same time again to like edit that to YouTube video. Then you have to upload it and stuff. So I guess each video takes like 5 hours. So we could have a Discord group. I'd just be worried that I wouldn't be there answering questions enough, if that makes sense. Like with a Facebook group, it's already hard for me to answer all the questions or to comment on all the posts. And I mean, I try and do my best, but yeah, I wouldn't want... I mean, I could make a Discord group for sure as like part of the community, but maybe it just wouldn't... Yeah, I don't know. I don't want people to feel like I'm not answering their questions or ignoring them, I guess. That would be my issue with it. But I mean, if you don't think that's a problem, then maybe it would be fine to make a Discord group and we can all hang out there as well. You know, I generally like all you guys that hang out in the chat, and like I always really enjoy chatting to you. So I guess maybe a Discord would be good. Good evening, Northern Hero Eldar guys. How you guys doing? Hope you're well. Striking Scorpion 82+ on his .tv subscription site put up his latest Blood Angels list development video, more of a thematic and narrative list, but I had to offer some opinions to optimize it. Nice. I know Striking Scorpion plays Blood Angels. I don't know if it's his main army though, because his little avatar thing is like an Eldar, right? Or his little logo is some sort of Eldar. But I have seen I have seen him do some Blood Angels videos. Rites of War could work well on those assault centurions you're interested in. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I really don't know about the assault centurions. I just think they'd be a fun unit to bring to battle, I guess. Whether or not they're competitive, I guess, is a whole other question. I mean, they did look like they could do a lot of damage, right? For a 165-point unit, being able to do 30 damage in a turn to toughness 8 seemed pretty interesting. And that's, I think Highland Phoenix said in one of the comments that we could, you know, you could slap 6 Melta-Guns on there as well and have those Centurions have a little bit more punch just before they charge in or whatever, so it's interesting. I just have always liked how the Centurions looked. I know some people seem to think that they're goddamn ugly, but I like how they look. I don't know, and I mean, I guess just any big unit with big melee weapons on it for Blood Angels I'm gonna like, because it seems to be that, like, you know, we have the most, like I've said in a few of my battle reports, like the fun begins for us in turn 3, right? In turn 1 and 2 we always feel like pretty average, but then once we get Savage Echoes, the fun just begins. Once you have Savage Echoes up, scouts with knives literally kill squads of people. It's crazy. I think scouts with knives get like 5 attacks, I want to say. I charged like a squad of scouts with knives and they actually won me a game one time just because like they had so many attacks and they they made a few key kills. Good evening, Michael. How are you? So I was just given a small airbrush and enamel paints. Is that okay to use for models? I'm new to painting models and have no clue. Well, I have no clue either because I don't use an airbrush. Maybe someone in the chat could answer your question, Hybrid. I paint everything that I've done by hand. It's probably not the quickest, but I don't have a good, well ventilated space right now. I'm trying to move house to have a little bit more space, so maybe once maybe that's a purchase for once we move house. But actually the first thing I need to do is actually get a 4K camera, so an airbrush is down my list of priorities at the moment. I don't mind painting them by hand. I kind of enjoy it anyway, so it's fine. Don't burn yourself out with commenting on everything. It's great and very nice of you, but yeah, I mean, I just try and answer as many questions as I can. If you always need a long time for the tables, wouldn't it be good to write a program in Python, for example, where you just specify parameters? Do you know what I've got? I use Google Docs and I've got a bunch of formulas that actually make it like a lot quicker, but you know, sometimes we're comparing like a dreadnought with 10 different weapon options. So even, and then we're comparing the 10 different weapon options against like 10 different unit types. So like even just getting it all in the right format to get into the spreadsheet takes a while. I mean, it's probably equal amount of time working out all the maths that it. The other part of it is like working out what I'm actually going to say, right? Because I don't script my YouTube videos word for word. I mean, I did at the beginning when I was generally bad at speaking at the camera, but like, you know, I make sort of bullet points or talking points, but it can be difficult to, yeah. So I mean, I feel like I've optimized the videos that I'm creating, but they still take a lot of time. Because when I first started the channel, I didn't do any hobby hangouts, right? Like, I was just too busy making videos all the time to even consider taking a night off to hang out and chat with you guys and actually do some of the modelling that I need to get done. Yeah, I put a Inceptor head on this Eradicator. Like, the shield head. I don't know what I think about it now that I see it, but do you know what? We'll try and paint it. Like, I was thinking it would be gold, so we'll try and do something like with a pattern and with some gold, and hopefully it can look pretty cool. I guess we'll find out. It would be nice to have Discord. I don't do Facebook thing either. Okay, well then let me investigate how we do a Discord, I guess. But I mean, I guess if you just be aware, I guess, like if I don't answer all the questions, I hope people will understand, right? Because, like, yeah, it's just purely down to time, I guess. The airbrusher is an excellent tool. I don't recommend spraying enamels though. Use water-based acrylics for safer and easy and medium. Use YouTube airbrushing tutorials. Yeah, sorry I can't be any help on airbrushes. Maybe in a couple of years' time. But yeah, right now I'm going to continue to probably paint by hand for at least the next year or something. Maybe a little bit longer. Alright, apparently a lot of people do not use Facebook. I didn't realize this. I thought like everybody just used Facebook. Okay, then let me look into that. Cool. Yeah, no, we can definitely look into Discord. I mean, I have the app on my phone. I have used it for like some other things. Because occasionally I do enjoy the odd PC game as well. I actually watched last night that they're remaking Diablo 2. And I think it's coming out this year, so I was actually kind of like, oh, cool. I used to really love Diablo 2 when I was like 15 years old. That was a pretty cool game. Centurions was the very first box I bought after 8th edition was announced. I actually want to hear your thoughts on the Devastator version as fire support for Blood Angels. I don't know if I rate the Devastator edition. They're very expensive, aren't they? Like, I don't know what the top of my head they are, but like I remember looking at the las cannons, because I think you can take 2 las cannons on each Centurion, and I think they're like 90 points a model or something crazy. And at that point, I'm like, without the core rerolls, I'm not sure how effective that would be. If they had core, then I'd probably be all over it, but without core, they might be they might suffer a bit, I guess. Greetings, Marcel. Good evening. How are you? Alright, so at least one person likes the idea of putting the Inceptor shield on the Eradicator's head. I don't know, I was just trying to be different, I guess. I believe you can airbrush inside, you just need a really good, well-ventilated space, and yeah, I just don't have that right now. I'm hoping to get a garage in the next house that I buy, so maybe once I get a garage, because at the moment I just don't have anything like that. I would say for Discord we just need to set up a few moderators who can help with questions. Well, I mean, I think we could do that. That shouldn't be a problem at all. Yeah, I can look at that in the next week or so then. But yeah, let's look at seeing if we can't get a Discord set up. These Eradicator models are pretty awesome for painting though, right? Like, I do love how big and chunky some of these Primaris models are. Like, they just feel... Sometimes when you're painting regular Marines, like, they feel small, I guess. Whereas I like how these guys just feel like pretty substantial. Yeah, I mean, I guess the channel is going to get bigger. I do want to still reply to every single comment on the YouTube channel, though, because honestly, I think that helps a lot in terms of, like, being accessible, I guess. Like, I'm actually going to listen, I'm actually going to read your comments and respond to them, because I know, like, on a lot of channels I comment on, like, you know, no one ever bothers to respond. Or occasionally you get a response, I suppose. But I suppose on those massive channels it's probably very hard. But at the moment anyway, I would like to try and keep responding to every comment if I can. I do sometimes respond to comments like on my phone in bed though. I mean, that is a thing that happens. Good evening, Luke. How are you doing? Not many YouTube interact with their audience as much as you do. I'm one of the Squidmar mods. We hardly hear from. It's more about the community. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess just because I have Facebook on my phone, and originally I thought like Facebook seemed to make sense for me because it was like, normally let's be real here, your Facebook feed is full of shit, right? And I don't care about anything that's in my Facebook feed. So I thought to myself, like, well, if I just make a Blood Angels group and that's the only thing that's in my feed, then I can respond to stuff there because, like, I generally care about Blood Angels. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could do Discord as well, and if other content creators aren't hanging out in it too much, I could probably do a bit. I do know Squidmar, and I have seen some of his videos, and he's probably in the same boat that I am in that, like, the videos take a long time to create and edit, and then you know, that's a mistake. Oh, I'll be okay, I suppose. Play Dawn... Is that Dawn of War 2 Elite mod? I think I actually own Dawn of War 2 and 3, but I never played either. Like, I played the first Dawn of War when it was first out, and I think I actually played it quite a lot. I really liked the first one, but I mean, do you know what? I maybe don't open the second one. Maybe it's just the third one. But the third one got really bad reviews, right? So I don't know if I think I got it in like a Steam sale for like $5, but I've never played it. That's always what happens in the Steam sale, right? You just have to cut yourself off because you buy games and then you never play them, and it's like, why did I even waste my money on this? Living in London, garages are rare. Yeah, wow, okay. A garage in London probably costs the same as my entire house, Lawrence. I've seen some of those TV shows where they show the living costs of London, and it's kind of like New York. It's just batshit crazy. I have 3 Eradicators. I'm not sure if I should make them Ultramarines or Blood Angels. I mean, I think they work great. Like, if you just want a very small, cheap fire support squad, then I think they are a great unit. So, I feel like they might have less value for Ultramarines because you have, like, you probably have a lot of other shooting units already. But like with Blood Angels, you don't. It's weird because like back in the day, I used to always run stuff like Predator tanks, etc. But like Predator tanks, just no one fields them ever now. I can't believe they just haven't adjusted the costs on stuff like Predators because they're just overcosted and generally not that good, you know. And they were the same in the whole of 8th edition. I don't know. I own 3 Predator tanks, and I don't think I fielded a single one in the whole of 8th edition or 9th edition yet. Just doesn't seem like there's something that Games Workshop cares about at all, I guess. Good evening, Origin Painting. How are you, Bet? Hope you're well. Did you get to 500 subs yet, man? Greetings from Twitch, Commander and Battle Brothers. Yeah, thanks for tuning in on Twitch, brother. It means a lot. I am trying to grow over on Twitch as well. So we just actually hit 50 followers on Twitch earlier this week. So that's pretty cool. I mean, for the longest time I didn't stream on Twitch. I didn't know you could stream on both at the same time. But yeah, we're you know, every time I'm live now on YouTube, I'm live on Twitch as well. So if you want to hang out there, if it's easier to get Twitch on your phone or anything like that, you can do that too. You know, sometimes these guys, when you pre-assemble them, there's always a bit like this where you just can't get the angle, and you're just like, ah, shit. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm not sure anyone will see that. Yeah, this brush is getting on its last legs. Your Hangout started sitting in a game store with nice people. Oh, thanks, man. I mean, I miss sitting in a game store, or I miss hanging out and just chatting with my buddies while we paint and stuff. You know, it's kind of ridiculous how long this lockdown has gone on. But in some ways, it's probably good because maybe I wouldn't be doing this if there wasn't a lockdown. You know, like maybe I would have been out hanging out, just, you know, with my friends or whatever, painting models. But yeah, this has been good, I suppose, for me, and I'm glad that you guys enjoy it too. Maybe at some point, if I ever get time away, like if my wife ever goes away with the baby for a whole day, we'll do like a whole day hangout or something. Definitely want to do a whole day of 40k gaming though. As soon as the lockdown ends, I want to do a whole day of 40k, like 3 games back to back or something. We'll put them all live on the channel. I cannot wait. Probably take like 2 different army lists, like a variation, because I've been building a few different army lists during this last period of lockdown. Commander and everyone should check out Chris Ballou and Way of the Brush. He's the ex-studio painter for Mini Wargaming. He does live streams, videos, and Discord. He's very engaged with his community. That's cool. I think it's important to engage with the community. That's why I try and answer every single comment on the YouTube channel, right? Like, but maybe those bigger creators are just too busy to answer all the comments. Like, maybe it gets out of hand, I suppose, at some point. Probably. You could just spend the whole day answering comments and doing nothing else. Eradicators go hard. I basically one-shot Tau Riptides with a unit of 6. And I take it you were Blood Angels then to... Like... Did you have any buffs, like Chapter Master rerolls or Rites of Battle or anything? Or you just had 6 Eradicators, no buffs, and that's what you managed to destroy? Doing well. Just got done fighting Death Guard on TTS. I didn't know you used Tabletop Simulator, man. Yeah, like a Predator v Redemptor Dreadnought or Leviathan Dreadnought, just put on a few extra points on top of Predators and you get much more robust unit. Yeah, I mean, I don't see how or why anyone would want to run the Predator, right? You're absolutely right, Eldar. It's just like, it just doesn't... I mean, even the Baal Predator is in the same boat, right? It's just like, there's no point running those units if you want to have something really high level competitive. Then, like you say, Redemptors, Leviathans, these things will survive so much better than a Predator, and they can do just as much damage, probably if not more. I'd be surprised if a Predator can do more damage than a Redemptor. And do you know what? I don't even know what a Predator costs in points right now, but I'm 100% sure it's overpointed. I think it used to be 90, and then you had to pay, I guess, like 2 last cannons is probably like 50, and then the auto cannon is probably like 30 or something. Thanks, Adam. I'm glad you enjoy the Hangouts too. Country living is where it's at. My garage is bigger than my first apartment, and it's super affordable. Yeah, if you don't care about being in the eco center, I guess, or the hub, you can get a much bigger place. We're actually that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to, like, we live in the center of town. We're trying to move out to like a housing estate on the edge of town, and you do get a lot more, and you get a garage as well. So maybe at that point you could consider getting some sort of airbrush. I haven't played in months. Trying to get my girlfriend into 40k so I have someone to play with. Yeah, I don't think my wife would even entertain Warhammer. We've played a few simpler games, and if there's too many rules, she gets zoned out pretty quickly. So I guess good luck with your quest, Lawrence, because yeah. Also, if you're in London, then you're in the same boat as we are. We're just completely locked down. Do you even know in England when you're allowed to, or have they even said a date for like the end of lockdown? Because all we know in Scotland is they're going to look at it next week. They haven't said anything. They haven't said anything except we're going to have a look at the lockdown next week, which is a little annoying because it's like you just have nothing to look forward to. Gitley, good evening. How you doing, brother? Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. I've got 3 Predators from Ultramarines, and I just look at them depressed. So weak nowadays. Yeah, I mean, I got 3 Predators as well. I think, do you know what? I actually have 4 Predators, so I've got 3 that are made. And over here, I have a Baal Predator sitting in a box, right, that I never finished making the turret or the sponsons on. So I made the shell of it, and I was like, I'm going to wait for an edition where they actually make the Baal Predator good, and then I'll build the flame turrets and shit like that. And this edition, they did 1 buff to the Baal Predator, but guess what? No one's running Baal Predator still. They're still not good enough. So I guess this 4th Predator that I have will sit in the box until the next edition, and maybe then we can hope. But I guess I wouldn't hope too much, because probably what will happen is nothing. The predators have apparently been ignored, or I don't know. I mean, a lot of the vehicles suffer the same sort of thing nowadays, right? It's not just predators, I guess. The Duty Eternal change for Dreadnoughts this edition has been pretty huge, I would guess, you know. I did say when I first heard about that change, I was like, oh, this is going to be the edition of Dreadnoughts, and it hasn't quite worked that way. But I mean, Dreadnoughts are generally much, you know, like if you're going to pick armor in this edition, I guess you are going to typically want to pick a Dreadnought over a tank. Predator Destructor is 130 plus 50 for las cannons. Yeah, so I mean, a Predator is literally the same points as a Redemptor, and the Redemptor has like what, one more wound, or I think a Predator's got 11 wounds. So is it 2 more wounds, and it's got Duty Eternal, and then the Redemptor obviously has a melee fist that can do 6 damage a shot. You know, like, wow, how can the Predator be that expensive, right? To be competitive, that Predator needs like 30 or 40 points taken off of it, in my opinion. Like anything less than that, it'd still be like, ugh. I turned my Ball Predator into Whirlwind, but I didn't. But I did make sure to magnetize it just in case. Yeah, that's probably a good call. I can't. Maybe I should just make it into some sort of other tank, because I think it'll sit in that box for the longest time if it stays as a Ball Predator. London is toast. Lots of people not getting the vaccine. Papa Nurgle is rejoicing. Okay. People not getting the vaccine, what, out of choice, or just because like the rollout of the vaccine has been has been problematic, I guess. Are Inceptors worth it nowadays? Plasma Inceptors are math hammering super well if you don't mind the potential death on your models if you roll ones. I mean, there's ways around that with like rights of battle and stuff, but yeah. In one of my recent videos, I don't remember which one, I compared something to Plasma Inceptors, and the Plasma Inceptors were like, even if though they went up a few points, they're generally very, very good at clearing screens of units. Not going to be so strong against like Death Guard now because of the -1 damage, but Hurricane Bolter, or I don't remember what they're called. They're not called Hurricane Bolters. The Inceptors with bolters might be okay as well. Someone on last week's stream actually said that he ran 5 with bolt guns, and he said he was getting a lot of value out of it, especially with like Descent of the Angels, so that all those bolt guns hit on 2s. And I think with the bolt guns, it's a guaranteed 6 shots. So you had 5 guys coming in, so you got 30 strength 5 bolters, -1 damage, hitting on 2s. So I mean, like, that's 25 strength 5 hits. He was saying that he felt like there was a lot of value in them, which I think I sort of agree with. I think that does sound pretty decent. Death from Above ran a Battle Predator and normal Predator lots in 8th and won a lot of games with them. Oh, I mean, I guess in 8th though, vehicles could get rerolls, right? I'm interested if he's still doing that now. I didn't run vehicles hardly at all in 8th. Maybe like the odd Whirlwind, but that was it. So I rarely see anyone use drop pods. Is there a reason for that? I see people use drop pods all the time. Do you mean just Blood Angels players using drop pods, or other armies using drop pods? Because I have 2 players in my meta, one that plays Iron Hands and one that plays Ultramarines, and those guys use drop pods all the time. With like the Ultramarines guy was using like the grav cannons before they nerfed that stratagem that let them like reroll wounds reroll hits or wounds or something, and then the Iron Hands guy uses them with multi-meltas all the time as well. Like 5 guys with multi-meltas in them. Bolter and Scepters are good too. That was my. Oh yeah, that was your list, Reziel. In fact, I think they'll be stronger in the future. Plasma versions will probably get another nerf. Good evening, Mark. How you doing? Did I miss the secret code for the giveaway, or was that yesterday? No, man. The giveaway is going to be this Friday. So we always put out a tactics video on Fridays, and it goes out around lunchtime UK time. I say it goes out around. It always goes out at 1 o'clock UK time every Friday. So the giveaway is going to be in that video on Friday, and yeah, I mean, if you're subscribed to the channel, you will literally see it pop up on Friday. If for some reason it doesn't pop up on your feed or something, then just head over to the Blood Angels Commander channel. I haven't started planning that video at all yet, so I can't tell you what to search for. Sometimes I get, because we do the live battle shows on Sundays, sometimes after the show on some Sundays, people will be like, oh, can you make a video on this? So sometimes I'll take inspiration from a request, or sometimes I'll just have something in my head. Do you know what I was thinking though is we haven't looked at Sanguinary Guard since the new codex came out. So I was thinking maybe it might, a lot of people talk about the Sanguinary Guard and the changes to Death Guard and the changes to Dreadnoughts and how they're a bit weaker in certain situations. So we could look at that for Sanguinary Guard. That might be an interesting thing to look at, just because we haven't looked at them for a while. But I mean, I am open to suggestions if people have something that they want looked at as well. But yeah, I mean, we looked last week. We compared the Vanguard veterans against the Death Company 5-man, and it was a really interesting comparison. So yeah, I mean, it might be really worth looking at the Sanguinary Guard against something and seeing how they get on. Good evening, Krychek. How you doing? I have a serious addiction to building models. I think we all have a serious problem with models. I saw a great meme this week. It was a Lord of the Rings meme, and it was at the beginning of the book when well, not the beginning of the book, it was the movie. So that at the beginning of the Lord of the Rings movie where Bilbo has to give the ring to Frodo, but Bilbo's obviously a bit he's a bit corrupted by the ring because he's had it for so many years. And when Gandalf's trying to get him to give it to Frodo, he's saying to him have you put the ring in the envelope? And Bilbo's like, yes, I've put it in the envelope, but it hasn't. He's like, oh, it's here in my pocket. And he's looking at the ring and he's saying my precious, and he's like, why should I give it up or whatnot? And I saw a great meme this week, and it's Bilbo holding one of those new Necron models from that new Kill Team box that they're about to release, and it's the meme said something why shouldn't I keep the Necrons? I was gonna trade them, but they're gorgeous and I want to keep them. And it summed up the brilliant thing about this hobby is every month, I don't know how you guys do it, but I literally have a Google Doc where I write down all the models that I want, and when I buy some of them, I score them off the list, and when I find let's say I do a video on Centurions like we did this week, and I'm like, oh shit, Centurions can actually do a lot of damage for their points, and I've kind of wanted them for ages, so I just dump them onto this list. The problem is this list doesn't look at hey, you have 9,000 point backlog of stuff that's in progress that needs finished painting. It's just Centurions look cool, right? Why shouldn't I buy some Centurions? And yeah, I don't know if there's worse problems to have in life, right? Than buying plastic models. How about a dread comparison? Leviathan v Derodeo vs Redemptor vs Ironclad vs Basic Dreads and Venerable. I mean, I could definitely do a dread comparison, Tony. I'd actually kind of wanted to do Leviathan versus Derodeo anyway. It was one of the ones that I had on my list to do. I guess Leviathans are pretty popular, and Derodeo got those new Volkite cannons, so we could do that. The problem I find that I have sometimes is, like, if I bite off too much, then, like, the YouTube videos can become almost, like, unwieldy. And I think last time I tried to compare 3 dreads together, it was like, it's just very difficult. Like, maybe not comparing the math, but yeah. I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say, but, like, I find, like, myself, like, jumping back and forth on so many bullet points that, like, it can be really hard to follow, and it can also be hard to really outrightly say, like, this is the best option right now, or something like that, I guess. But Leviathan v Derodeo, with maybe, like, we did look at the Redemptor recently, so I have already got all the math for that, so maybe we could throw that in as a baseline. That might be interesting. Primaris BA, is it viable? Ugh. So many people want to either do, like, no Primaris or all Primaris, or yeah, it's weird. I don't get it. I don't think Primaris are in a good enough state overall to be, like, an only Primaris army, and then at the same time, like, I guess the original troop choices have been left in the dirt. For example, like, I think tactical squads are really, really poor now. But yeah, it's super tricky, I guess. How are you kitting out those Eradicators? Any heavy or multi-meltas? So these are just the easy to build kits, man, from Indomitus. So these kits are all just the regular Eradicator guns. I do have that one kit for multi-part, but it's for the giveaway, so I haven't actually bought any Eradicators. See, my problem is I actually have a load of attack bikes with multi-meltas that I've had since 3rd edition, I think. And if you actually compare Eradicators right up against those attack bikes, then the difference is kind of small. Like, it's a 10-point difference. The attack bike obviously gets to move 12 compared to the Eradicators 5. The attack bike has 1 more wound. It has that auto bolter, which I guess is, like, because of bolter discipline and it's a bike, you would get 4 bolter shots at max range. So just strength 4, no AP. And then because it's a bike, you don't take the -1 for moving and shooting penalty, so you can move your full 12 inches and shoot your multi-meltas. So for 10 points, I mean, the only disadvantage, I guess, is, like, the bikes are a little bit less durable in terms of, like, there's no stratagems that will buff the bikes, so you can't, like, transhuman them, or there's another one, isn't it? It's like unyielding in the face of the foe that you can use on Gravis armor models. But, I mean, those bikes can be where you need them to be with their 12-inch move. So I actually have 3 attack bikes from years and years ago. So I figure in my list, if I was going to run Eradicators, I'm probably going to run, like, just 3 regular Eradicators with 3 attack bikes. But saying that, when I did some math hammer recently on Eradicators, point for point, the heavy melter rifles are literally like the best heavy support option in game. Obviously, there's the disadvantage that you take -1 to hit if you move and shoot with the heavies. But they are going to be point for point the most damaging weapons in the game from heavy support, I believe. Maybe there's something I missed, but I'm pretty sure if they're not the best, they're damn close. So heavy melter rifles are a really good option. Auspix Tactics has done that Dreadnought video. Do you know what? If I don't make any videos that Auspix Tactics has done, man, then I'll never get to make another video, because Auspix Tactics has done videos on everything. The difference I want to say is that, like, all Auspix Tactics videos are much more general, I guess, would be the way I look at it, right? Like, he'll tell you everything for all the factions, but I'll just tell you exactly how to use it for Blood Angels, and I'll give you the math to back it up for Blood Angels. So, sure, maybe Auspix Tactics has done the video, but I think that if I did it, I would be bringing something different. And I guess, you know, I was going to say, like, we do have 4,000 subscribers now, right? So I guess some people must agree that I'm bringing something different. But yeah, I mean, Auspix Tactics, I've used his videos before. I've spoken to the guy a couple of times. He seems generally very nice. But yeah, I mean, he does do videos on a lot of different stuff. I'm just trying to get my Blood Angels thoughts across in the videos, I guess, is the bit of difference. Do you know what? I actually commented on one of his videos not that long ago he made about Smash Captains. I was like, you're close, but for Blood Angels I've got some better options. I think I actually saw Highland Phoenix in the comments for Auspix there as well, saying the same sort of thing, like trying to make him like, hey Auspix, did you think about this for Blood Angels? So it's kind of funny. I already have a Leviathan. The math is going to make me buy a Derrideo, isn't it? I don't know, man. I mean, the new Derrideo cannons are nice, but the Volkite cannon on the Leviathan is also really nice. I've pretty much dropped the heavy flamers in my Leviathan now at Arc Suit, and I'm using the Volkites. I think they're a much better option. I guess it makes it a little bit worse in Overwatch, but like Overwatch really isn't nearly as prevalent in 9th edition as it was in 8th, right? Like, generally you can go through like a whole game and see one Overwatch, or sometimes even no Overwatch. These stupid pipes on the back of their legs, once you've glued the model together, what a nightmare that is to get in there and paint. I've painted a squad of aggressors. Well, I've actually painted 2 squads of them, six aggressors. And I feel like they had something similar, and I remember it being an arse then as well. Just can't get the angle in there. Well, probably can, but I'm going to end up putting my brush in there and getting grey paint everywhere that I don't want it to be. I don't get why they haven't given jump packs to Primaris. Yeah, me neither. Oh yeah, and Origin Painting got a bunch of attack bikes. I have to close one eye to get my brush to see the angle in there, because with both eyes open I can't I can't see the depth, or I can't work out how to get my brush in there to paint that bit. Cool. Can do Primaris with Jump Pack Death Company, Sangregard, and some fill up fast attack with ATV Outriders and Scepters, I think, though. I'm sure. Yeah, I missed what you said first, Chris. I don't think Blood Angels Primaris only are viable, and yeah, someone asked that in the chat that the jump packs for us are just too many of our models work best. I don't want to say they rely on the jump packs, because I guess there's probably ways around it in that you could do like impulsors with Blade Guard veterans, but and then I guess maybe an impulsor with Death Company and stuff, but like you're just wasting so many points on transports. I'd much rather just pay the few points per model, have those jump packs, and then like the strongest part of our army is sort of the mobility of it. And that's going to be even more so now with the new changes to turn 5 scoring. Like mobility in turn 5 on a Blood Angels army is going to score you a bunch of points now. So I guess we need to think about that. In terms of armor, I have 2 Ball Predators, 1 Storm Talon, 1 Vindicator Laser Destroyer, 1 Librarian Dread, and 1 Death Company Dread. Any suggestions to expand? How are you finding the Vindicator Laser Destroyer? Because I actually think that is possibly one of the best units, or the best tanks that I've seen in 9th edition. I was thinking of getting 2 Vindicator Laser Destroyers. I don't have any time scale on that, but I honestly... I think if you're gonna spend points on like heavy armor, like I think you want them to do heavy damage, right? Like I don't typically recommend taking armor to clear screens, for example, right? Like I guess like possibly a perfect example of that might be like the Land Raider Crusader, right? Like the Crusader's got like what, Hurricane Bolters on it and like twin assault cannons, and like it's just generally very good at like clearing out infantry if that's what you need. But I don't know many people take them. I guess I guess in some ways it's like the Ball Predators, and I guess in some ways Ball Predators did get a tiny buff in that heavy bolters now do 2 damage, but still, like I don't know many people or anyone really that's running Ball Predators to clear out enemy infantry. Like if we want to kill infantry as a Blood Angels player, then Death Company with chain swords, Vanguard veterans with lightning claws, I think these things are going to kill infantry way better than any sort of armor we could pick. But yeah, what would suggestions for armor? If you take Dreadnought suggestion, yeah, I mean, have you considered the Leviathan Dreadnought? I think it's very good now. Maybe we do have to redo the Leviathan Dreadnought video because I haven't redone it. I thought it was good before, and then they knocked 110 points off it, and sure, they made it a little bit worse, but 110 points worth of worse? I don't think so. So I think who was asking earlier if they think they might need to buy a Daredevil, I think you're going to be safe. I think the Leviathan Dreadnought is still going to be... I think the Leviathan Dreadnought is actually probably still one, if not the hardest armor piece. It's like the most survivable armor we can pick or we can get, unless you want to go and spend like 600 points on a super heavy tank or a Straeus or something like that, right? But if you want to spend like 200 points on a bit of armor, then I think the Leviathan Dreadnought is going to be the strongest armor you can buy for 200 points, give or take. Thanks again for the Radicator video. I just a set from the pre-order. Yeah, no problem. I mean, that's what this channel is all about, is to do videos every week. I want to know what are the best choices for my army just as much as you guys do. So sometimes making these videos has actually made me change my army, because I was like, oh damn, okay. A good example of that is last week's Vanguard Veteran video. You know, like, I didn't realize that Vanguard Veterans are literally like 1.5 times as survivable as the Death Company almost. and they do like just 10% less damage. So if you're talking about like, I always drop Death Company troops in the backfield usually in a battle. So now I'm thinking probably still can do that, but like probably here's an option: dropping some Vanguard veterans in the backfield as well. The veterans will be harder for the enemy to kill and shift, and that's good if you talk about like going in to take a backfield objective and then hold it for a turn or two to get some VP. If you have a unit that's much harder to kill back there, that could like cause your opponent to have to put more things back into their backfield, like freeing up them from their front lines and stuff, and providing you more better opportunities on the battlefield. So it was one of the subscribers, Jonathan, last week that told us about to try the Vanguard Vet Lightning Claws, and yeah, they perform crazy well actually. But yeah, no, I had the Leviathan v Deradeo video up there for a while, so I'll try and give it a bit more presence, or try and get it done a bit quicker. Which grey is that? This is just Dawnstone, man. So I use it, it's like a really light grey, and I use it for any part of the model that I'm later going to paint gold, metal, or bronze. Because I just find painting those colours over red doesn't always, like you end up having to do 2 coats of them. So, I mean, you're doing the same number of coats this way, but, I mean, I just put down the light grey first. And some of those metallic paints don't always give great coverage, so I think I just generally get a lot of success from putting down this Dawnstone first, and then, like I'll probably do the barrel bronze, and then maybe this bit of the barrel here that I'm painting right now, maybe it'll be silver, and then like on that last guy, the helmet was going to be gold. So yeah, I'm just putting down a thin coat of this Dawnstone. I use it everywhere except the armor joints on these Marines, and then on the armor joints I use Mechanicus standard grey, because the joints need a bit more depth and a bit more shadow, I guess. So that's why that's how I do my silvers, golds, and bronzes, I guess. Contemptor Dread seems super valuable if you're looking for a gunline pick for more of a budget price. Yeah, you're 100% right, Dex. And good evening, Dolph. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I mean, the Contemptor Dread with the missile launcher and the Volkite cannon does generally seem very good. I also thought that like you could actually have the Contemptor Dread with a claw, the Volkite cannon, and the Cyclone missile launcher, and I think the points cost would be very, very similar to the Redemptor Dread, right? Because a Relic Contemptor is like 140, Cyclone missile is like 25, Volkite cannon is like 5, and then so you're at like 170 plus the claw. I don't think the claw is that expensive, maybe like 10. If it's less than 15 points, then it's basically the same cost as Redemptor. It's pretty much as survivable as a Redemptor. You just have to pay the 1 CP to include it in your army, because it has got that Martial Legacy Forge World rule book, or keyword, or rule, or whatever you want to call it. So if you're happy to pay 1 CP to include the Contemptor, I feel like it can do a good bit of shooting. It can obviously do a good bit of close combat. It's just as survivable as the Redemptor. So yeah, Contemptors, I'd kind of ruled out Contemptors this edition when they because they did get hit pretty hard. They lost like, what was it, 3 wounds, and they lost 1 on their ballistic and weapon skill, and they lost their 6+ feel no pain. So it was quite a lot that they lost, but you know what, when you actually do the math, they are actually still fairly decent. The Vindicator is nice if you can get a nice powered shot on enemy armor and monsters. Nothing wants to eat heavy 3 shots with flat 6 damage. Yeah, I mean, that's why I like the idea of the Vindicator Laser Destroyer. Later, Northern, thanks man for tuning in. I like the Inceptor helmet you've put on that guy, like a welding mask. Oh, thanks man. Yeah, I mean, the Inceptor helmet is a Gravis helmet anyway, right? So I just thought, like, this guy needs to be the sergeant, or like I need to differentiate one of them as a sergeant. So just decided to differentiate this guy as the sergeant, and yeah, I think I must have just used regular helms on something on my Inceptors and had it left over. I always like to have bits to throw on other kits and stuff. That's like one of the things I like doing the most. You know, I guess that's maybe why I don't overly like the Indomitus box or these easy to build variants that you get in those boxes, just because like I don't like it when there's no customization. If there's no customization, what I end up doing is like hacking off shoulder pads and stuff to get some sort of customization on there, so it's just generally very annoying. If the enemy focuses on the Vanguard vets, then the Death Company can survive a bit longer. Yeah, I mean, that's very true. I think Vanguard vets are probably underutilized this edition, and do you know what, when I did that survey on the community page, people still prefer Death Company over Vanguard vets. See, for me, it's all about the numbers, right? Like, I'll pick what I think is going to do the best on the battle based on the numbers that I've crunched, I guess. But I mean, some people want to pick stuff that is very iconic, and I can totally get that, I guess. But for me, it's definitely a numbers game. I like to pick things that I think will do the best because I've run the math and stuff, and I'm like, yes, this will survive, or this will be able to do this on the battlefield, and that will help me win the game, I guess. Oh, good evening, Jonathan. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I liked your Centurion this video this week, John. Siege drills in my army since I started building it. But now, how do I get to the middle of the board alive without also spending mega points on the Land Raider? Well, I mean, that's the $1 million question, man, is like, how do you get those Centurions to where you need them to be? I mean, to me, it seems like possibly the most sense is going to be Strategic Reserve, and it is only going to cost you 1 CP, which is fairly decent because they're power level 9. And I guess just... But at that point, then, they maybe become less a middle holder unit and maybe like a more an aggressive backfield. It's tricky. I mean, in my newest list I was making, I had like 150 points of Blade Guard veterans that were just going to literally, I guess they're going to advance towards the middle of the map and hope that they don't get shot. So I mean, that's a strategy as well, you know, like. And then the other thing is to say, like, if the enemy's shooting all their firepower at your Centurions and all your other guys are getting ignored, maybe that's okay. You know, I guess there's a lot of variables, right? So go on then, Jonathan. You were playing against Dark Angels. Tell us how you beat them. What was your MVP units? I'd love to hear about it. You obviously mentioned that you killed some Deathwing, so yeah, let's share your knowledge with the chat, my man. I'm working on 3 aggressors at the moment. Really not enjoying painting them. Last Blood Angels I'll be painting for a little while, I think. Got a ton of Lumineth Realm Lords paint up next. Yeah, they got new. They got some new models announced today, right, Gitley? I actually don't follow Age of Sigmar all that much. I know more about the old world than I do for Age of Sigmar. But I did see that there was like an announcement with them today. And that's sad that you're not painting Blood Angels, man. You have to always have something fun Blood Angels on your painting table. That's like a rule. The Contemptor gets the melee weapon for free. You pay an extra 5 to make it a Chain Fist. Okay, Cyclone Missile, Chain Fist, and the Volk. Damn, man, I need to buy a Chain Fist for the Contemptor then, and But do you know what? With that new Volkite cannon and a cyclone missile launcher and a combat weapon, I think that's a pretty decent dreadnought for the price. Like, I would field that. I've been looking at the Sicarian Omega for a while. I think it looks awesome, but what's your thoughts on it? Could you check the stats? Yes, we could definitely check those stats. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to think. I don't own a Sicarian, but I think the Omega is the one with the plasmas. But give me 1 second and we'll check. I think my buddy may have actually just bought one of those as well, because I guess he was thinking the same thing. But yes, thank you very much for the $5, Mohammed. $5 Canadian. I actually have no idea. What was I going to say? I have no idea what that converts to in my currency, but nonetheless, thank you very, very much. Alright, let's see if we can get this up. Rules. No, I think I was right. It is the Sicarian with the plasmas. Oh, come on, zoom in. Alright, Sicarian Omega. Huz. 14 wounds, 2+ save. Heavy 6. Supercharge for 3 damage, -3. Kind of strange that it's just a -3, but I mean, that's okay. And then you would take a mortal wound on a roll of 1, obviously. BS of 3+ if it is over half wounds, 4+, 5+ on profile. Okay, and then Sicarians are generally costed really effectively, right? Let me see. Sicarian Omega, 175 points. Oh, I didn't notice what it said you could take with it. There's a heavy bolter and a plasma array. So why did it? Oh, right. Okay. Oh, and you can throw two more heavy bolters or 2 las cannons on it as well. Hunter Killer and Storm Bolter. I care less about those, I guess. Okay, las cannons for 20 points per. So for 215 points, you get 2 las cannons, 1 heavy bolter, and then those. Heavy 6 plasma shots. I mean, I feel like you would want a tech marine, maybe, right? Because it's got 14 wounds, 2+ save. So early in the game, and then yeah, I mean the BS3 is the little weakness, but I mean all armor is basically BS3 at the moment. So like, maybe a regular tech marine, so you can make it BS2, and then maybe, like, are you running have you got any sort of psyker in your list? Because if you do have a psyker, and you can pop off like Psychic Fortress or Shield of Sanguinius on the early game, then I think that's generally pretty good. I have absolutely no problem taking some mortal wounds on vehicles with like that many hit points, right? Like my issue with the plasmas usually is like give you a good example, like why the fuck does Mephiston have a plasma pistol? Because like I don't know anyone that is ever shooting Mephiston's plasma pistol on high power. I think back in the day he had a master crafted plasma pistol when that had like totally different rules, but they've just left it, I guess, because that was what was on the model back in the day. When they upgraded him to Primaris, they should have given him a different pistol, because it's just like, there's literally no situation in the game that I will ever shoot Mephiston's pistol on high power. Whereas if you have a Sicarian like that, or if you have a Redemptor Dreadnought with 13 wounds, yeah, I'm more than happy to shoot it on high power. I'm happy to take a mortal wound on a tank that's like able to chuck out like 20 damage, you know, and take one mortal wound for it. Yeah, that's not a problem at all. So one thing I would say about the Sicarian, I guess, is if you are going to spend a lot of points on some armor, and I guess this isn't even a lot of points, right? Like 215 points if you put 2 las cannons on it. It's not really that many points, but if you are going to put the las cannons on it and spend those extra 40 points for the las cannons, then I probably would recommend a Tech Marine. Otherwise, I'd probably just run it naked, so to speak. You know, like no las cannons on there, and just run it at the 170, because by adding those las cannons and the Tech Marine, you actually get like double value in that you've added 2 las cannons for 40 points, but now they're hitting on 2s. So 2 las cannons that hit on 2s, you know, for 40. It does cost you a few more points with the Tech Marine, but I mean the Tech Marine will also keep the model alive that bit longer, and getting those extra shots off with the extra ballistic skill is probably worth it. Like this is basically like a cut down version of the strat that I was using, where I was running the Falchion, right? So I was running like the same sort of deal, like a Forge Roll tank, and because that Forge Roll tank was quite expensive, I was getting a lot of value out of that Tech Marine because it had a lot of guns that could improve to 2+ ballistic skill. So yeah, that's probably how I would do it if you're going to get if you're going to consider I'm trying to think though if that is the, like, if you like the look of that's great, go for it. I don't know if I had my eye on that so much. I really like the Vindicator Laser Destroyer because I really like flat 6 damage on weapons, and I guess that's why I bought the other super heavy, the Cerberus, again, because it's got flat 6 damage on weapons. Oh boy, did they get some new models out announced today. I can't cope. Yeah, as a Space Marine player, it's hard enough to cope, Gitley, let alone if you're going to go ahead and collect something else. So good luck with that. So the MVP was the Vanguard Vets. Let me say this, with Inner Circle having permanent transhuming, meaning that we can only wound on 4s, and it takes away our +1 to wound, so the wound rerolls helped. How many Vanguard Vets with Lightning Claws were you running today then, Jonathan? And Terminators are so slow they can't keep up with their flying units. Yeah, I mean, Lightning Claws rerolls to wounds obviously going to help a lot against those Dark Angels, that's for sure. Was 40k shown off today? No, I don't think there was any 40k releases today. I did have a look. I can't decide on it or the Vindicator Laser Destroyer. I would buy a Laser Destroyer if you don't have one. Honestly, flat 6 damage is just so powerful. You know, you force your opponents to either start using command rerolls on saves in turn 1. You know, no one wants to be blowing command rerolls on saves. I mean, it's just so much better than las cannons. Like, how many times do you shoot a las cannon and like the wound roll comes up and you roll a 1? You know, it's like, oh, you take 1 damage, whoop-de-doo. You know, it does nothing. You know, like, I've had that happen. Like, it happens at critical times in the game as well, where it's like, oh, this enemy vehicle has 3 wounds left. You've hit it and wounded it with a las cannon. He fails the save. You roll a 2. And it's like, now you have to decide if you're going to CP a damn 2 on a wound roll, or a damage roll, sorry, on a las cannon, you know? Whereas, like, so both my super heavy tanks have a main cannon that does a flat 6 damage. And, oh my god, every week, you know, I get so much value out of those flat 6 because, you know, you hit some armor and, like, you hit a rhino, and it's like, if they fail 2 saves, it's gone. You know, it's just like, it's so strong. So, like, I would totally recommend a laser destroyer. I have one, you know, I have it down to buy one. I mean, I always have something down to buy, but, like, laser destroyer is definitely something that I've had a look at. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Sicarian does look pretty tasty as well. And you know what? I think it's very competitively priced. You know, if we, you know, like earlier in this stream, we were talking about a Predator, and that Sicarian, like, does so much more work than a Predator, and it's like, what, 30 points more or something? You know, as opposed to, like, an autocannon, it has a heavy bolter and, like, a heavy 6 strength 9 3 damage plasma gun. Yeah, I mean, it's night and day for 30 extra points or something. So the Sicarian generally seems pretty good as well, I guess. So, but I also think laser destroyers, correct me if I'm wrong here, but laser destroyers are toughness 8. Like, I don't think your Sicarian is toughness 8, is it? It's toughness 7? Laser destroyer is indeed toughness 8, and your Sicarian is toughness 7, yeah. So toughness 8 makes a big difference against small arms fire. You know, like, it's basically you're 20% more survivable, so you know that they're going to have to waste all their heavy weapons to take out that heavy destroyer. And if they don't waste their heavy weapons on it, then you are going to wreak some crazy damage with your flat 6 damage from that main cannon. So, I mean, I guess that's just something to consider. Mephiston used to have a master-crafted one, and they should just make overcharge... Yeah, they should just make his overcharge have some sort of special rule where it doesn't kill Mephiston if he wants to overcharge the weapon, because that's so stupid, right? Yeah, someone else, Dev, says that they could have given him a name, Plasma Pistol. Yeah, I think so. The next MVP was the suppressors to turn off Overwatch to his Hellblasters and Eradicators. Alright, yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure how the suppressors would do, but I'm fixing to head inside and get settled after working all day and all night, but I have a question about Vanguard veterans and jump packs. Yes, Echo Mirage, what is your question? And if anyone in the chat doesn't know Echo Mirage, he's kind of in here quite often, but he doesn't speak. We have him to thank for the giveaway on the channel this week. So Echo Mirage basically bought 2 of the... I want to say he bought, like... Pretty much he bought all 3 kits, actually. Like, I just basically had to pay, like, $10 or something. So, the giveaway that's coming up is very much... It's very much thanks to Echo Mirage, who is one of the followers here on YouTube, and he is in the chat tonight. So, I guess whoever wins can thank him. Personally, hopefully some of you guys, some of the regulars win the kits. That would be really nice. But yeah, sorry, please ask your question, Echo, and we'll see if we can pick it up. I reckon a few armies will get their releases before then. Dukari, Orcs, Chaos Space Marines, and maybe like Elder and Genestealer Cults. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what order they're going to be releasing stuff this year. And also, like, with England being such a lockdown, I'm not sure if that's going to just delay anything as well. I mean, it might. Yeah, that's very true. Your Meltas are only going to wound the laser destroyer on 50-50 chance. And like, The Laser Destroyer has smokescreen. I imagine the Sicarian has smokescreen as well, right? Smokescreen seems to be one of the things that I spend my points on or my CP on the most in 9th edition. I am always smokescreening models, it feels like. I didn't even know there was a giveaway. Yeah, the giveaway is coming up next Friday, man. Maybe I didn't mention it enough. 1 second, let me put this paint on this and I'll show you. And it is coming up to midnight actually, and I'm kind of tired, so I'm probably going to take off at midnight. I don't know if I like these little rocks that they make you put, or you know, like the Indomitus bases all had little holes and you're supposed to put these little rocks on them. I don't know if I care for them. They seem kind of frivolous and like, I mean, I've got them on a bunch of bases here, but yeah, I mean, I just don't know if I care about them at all. Okay, Vanguard Veteran jump packs. Do they get jump pack keywords so that Hammer of Wrath Stratagem can be played? I can't see anywhere in the data sheet that says they do. I would think for sure that they would. Sometimes... Yeah, let me look. But I think, I feel for sure you would be able to play that stratagem. So it just says... all of the models can be equipped with one jump pack. And then Hammer of Wrath says... An Adeptus Astartes jump pack unit from your army finishes a charge move. I'm sure that that's fine. Does the... I don't even think, like... Look at another model. Huh. Surely adding jump packs gives them the jump pack keyword. I think that might be an oversight, man. Because by that logic, like, you wouldn't be able to play Hammer of Wrath with Death Company, right? Because they wouldn't have the keyword. And I have 100% played Hammer of Wrath with Death Company, and my opponent didn't have a problem with it. Yeah, I think that's an oversight. Maybe someone else in the chat could say what they think, but I think that if you give a unit the jump packs, then they have the jump pack keyword. It doesn't say it specifically from what I see, but yeah, that seems like a pretty big oversight. Oh yeah, probably... Krychek's probably right. It probably... in the War Gear section, when it talks about jump packs, it probably says that you get the jump pack keyword. The Hammer of Wrath stratagem is in the main Marine Codex. It's not a Blended Angel specific one. Basically what it does is when you finish a charge with a jump pack unit, you can roll a dice, and if the dice roll exceeds the opponent's toughness, you roll one dice for each model, If it exceeds the opponent's toughness, they take a mortal wound. So certainly good against like low toughness enemies, not so good against like, I guess anything over toughness 6 you couldn't wound it, right? I've never actually used it against anything over toughness, or would it be toughness 5 you can't wound? But yeah, I'm sure the jump packs. Yeah, I've got a pile of Phobos kits here and I'm trying to decide whether I want to custom Blood Angel's successor chapter for them to better suit Phobos. Well, yeah, one day, Marcus. Hopefully soon. Right, hold on. We got to get to the bottom of this jump pack rule. Because if it is what you say, then I've been doing it wrong, I guess. I've never played a game of 40k, and I probably won't for a long while with COVID and all. I've ordered the Blood Angels Codex, and I'm sure it'll get the Space Marine one too. Do I miss out if I don't buy Psychic Awakening? Yeah, you don't need Psychic Awakening anymore. Those were 8th edition rules, and they're not needed, Dolph. I mean, you could get it for the lore if that's what you care about, but for the rules, no, you don't. You don't miss out on anything. Right. It's in the other war gear. What page are you looking at for this other war gear? Because I've got the weapon profiles on page 195. I'd have thought it would have been at the back of the book. It's in the middle section of the data sheet. So did I miss it as well? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, well, we should have thought about that, but yeah, of course, because you need to get the fly keyword as well, or that makes no sense. Yeah, so okay, good. Got to the bottom of it. Thank goodness. I haven't been doing it wrong. You had me worried for a minute there. I don't know if this brush is going to be able to do any more detailed painting. It's. I think tonight might have crucified it. I like these Eradicators though. I think they're going to be quite cool. I certainly like the fact... I just like how big the models feel. They certainly feel different from... like, they feel very different from regular Marines. I mean, I guess if we put a regular Marine next to him... Yeah. It's a bit... Maybe it's just the Gravis guys that feel so big, but wow. This guy didn't have his Weetabix, did he? I just speed painted my first army and I only got 5 games in before COVID. Yeah, I mean, well, hopefully we can all get lots of games in a post-COVID world. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, I mean, I got sort of a bit of grey on 3 of these guys, ready to take some colours to them next. So I am pretty tired tonight. So I'm going to call a stream just in a minute here. But we are going to be back tomorrow afternoon, I guess, for our weekly live army list show, which will be pretty cool. And then hopefully the plan is for this Tuesday to have some sort of battle report out. And then maybe Friday's video might be on dreadnoughts. Yeah, Gravis are just as big as Terminators. Yeah, they're pretty massive, aren't they? They actually feel maybe a little bit bigger than Terminators, but you know, maybe they're not. I have thoughts on the matchup of these Dark Angels. Any matchup is winnable, but properly run Dark Angels are one of the single most powerful at the moment. It's an uphill battle for the Blood Angels. Yeah, I think Jonathan was maybe using... Jonathan, why don't you post your army list into the... When the stream ends, you'll be able to post in the comments. Could you post your list into the comments and people could maybe see what you were doing? Because I know you were running a lot of Vanguard Veterans with Lightning Claws. And yeah, we talked a little bit about your list as well, and I think some people have been having problems against Dark Angels. So it might be interesting if they can just see a list that is beating Dark Angels. Yeah, I mean, Mephiston Red spray does help a lot. I generally do Evil Sun Scarlet as my base coat, so I add extra work for myself. But yeah, I definitely like the Mephiston Red spray as well. I'm starting other painting tips, I guess. I'll probably make a video on like how to simply paint a battle ready army soonish. I had been thinking about doing, like, I only have one painting video up on the channel, and it's about painting Dante. But yeah, I mean, maybe I need to just do one video on painting a Blood Angels Marine nice and quickly to get people started. So I'll maybe do that soonish as well. Alright guys, yeah, I'm really tired, so I'm just like drifting and chatting. I did have coffee tonight, but I guess it hasn't really helped. So yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow for the live army show, 4 p.m. If you want to come and hang out, we're live every Sunday for 2 hours. And we just talk army lists and we rate community army lists. Thank you for the subscribe, Lolno. So we do that every Sunday, and if you do have your army list you want to submit, tune in tomorrow and I'll tell you how you can do that as well, and we'll add you for to... Yeah, I can't even speak. We'll add you to the queue to have your army list submitted in the near future, or not submitted, to be reviewed in the near future. Yeah, I am definitely tired. And yeah, okay guys, thank you very much for subscribing. It's much appreciated. Really nice to see you all here tonight. Thank you so much for all the support. Getting to 4,000 subs is awesome. And here we go, 5,000. If these people, more people just keep subscribing every few minutes, we'll be at 5,000 before you know it. So sleep well. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very kind of you. Good night, everybody. And yeah, hopefully we'll see a bunch of you tomorrow. By the blood are we made, brothers. Peace. Yeah, 4 p.m. UK time every Sunday. Just live on YouTube and on Twitch.